times that I stream. And while I do apologize for that, I hope that you will understand and know that I am trying to keep it together right now. And that I do want to continue doing the channel. So today is Monday, which means that we are doing the water signs. Water signs. That is going to be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And just kind of clean up the area. This is, of course, the Dr. Bronner's peppermint hand sanitizer. And then I also, I think, put rosemary oil in here and some cinnamon and some camphor. And then, of course, our Bible verse for the day, which is Proverbs 21:1. Like channeled water is the mind of the king in the Lord's hand. He directs it to whatever he wishes. Like channeled water is the mind of the king in the Lord's hand. He directs it to whatever he wishes. So, be the king. And let your mind be like water in the Lord's hand. But always know who's talking to you. So, of course, you know that I've been using this Oliver Hibbert deck. And it is blended with the main tarot deck and then the secret arcana. And we'll be starting with the sign of Cancer. So, Cancer, if you would, just allow your intuition to guide you to your intention for the reading, and allow any of the thoughts and ideas surrounding that intention to rise up to the forefront of your mind so we can address these things. And if any of these issues are causing you stress or discomfort, or if you're in a not great situation, I invite you to gently breathe through these energies. As you inhale, draw in divine source energy and allow that oxygen molecule to bounce through your mitochondria, through the electron transport chain. And then at the very end of that electron transport chain, as the carbon dioxide is leaving your body, just exhale all of that stress. Anywhere you feel discomfort, start at your feet and do a small body scan all the way up to the top, the crown of your head. And anywhere you feel tension or stress or discomfort, just release that with your breath. All right. And I will be done shuffling the cards just shortly. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess you get 3 future cards then, Cancer. Interesting. All right. So, let me get out this little booklet here. Hi, Maria. Thank you for coming. It's so good to see you. Let me write down your time stamp. Okay. So, Cancer. Here in the past, we have the 9 of Pentacles in the reverse. There might have been a period of time in your past, Cancer, where you were able to be financially solvent and free to do as you pleased with your money without inhibition. That time is passing for you. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that that you are no longer in a position to spend your money freely. We do see the snail here in the corner, which is talking to us about slow and steady wins the race. I might have gotten that from a minnow pond video, so always give credit to Chris where credit's due. And we are getting to a period of time now where money has different meanings. Money is supposed to be a tool, and it's supposed to be a tool to help to bring us together. Because you can't always just walk up to somebody and barter with them. You don't know necessarily right off the bat who you can trust and who you cannot. You have to be able to read energies, and they are not teaching people to do that. And so money is supposed to be this tool that allows us to walk up to somebody and without a lot of fuss or explanation, obtain goods and services. The price is supposed to be fairly set so that there's a common trust and understanding already built into that situation that doesn't need to be compounded by all of these extraneous things. Now, it's good to have contracts. I'm not saying don't have a contract with people, but think about the basis for contracts and why we have to have them. So, this also tells me that we're moving out of that period of time, Cancer, where people are able to have true financial freedom. Because now there's a additional cost attached to money. So this could be a personal situation for you, but it could also be part of a larger situation. Here in the place of the significator, we do have one of the secret arcana cards, which is the serpent. We have this rainbow serpent forming a lemniscate ouroboros. Lemniscate ouroboros. Lemniscate ouroboros. Interweaving with these keys here. And that is crossed by the Eight of Cups. So there's walking away from something. Let me look up the meaning of this serpent card. The serpent upright is the beginning of an end. So there is a cycle that is ending at this time. And it's going to have to do with walking away, leaving something behind. This could even be a corporeal form of some kind. I would hope that it wouldn't be transitioning, but it could be transitioning of another sort, right? It could be getting affirming surgeries done. It could be going on hormones. It could be moving to a different part of the country. The Eight of Cups can also be changing up your friend group. Because if you look at all of these cups, this is your emotions. These are your emotional states. And where you have these cups to give of emotional energy, these are cups that you have gladly poured out of yourself for other people. And now you are willingly walking away and leaving those behind. And this is because there is a cycle ending at this time. Down here in the MMCLI for you, Cancer. We have the Lover's card. Now, this card is in the upright. It can be about a love relationship, but it can also be about the choices that you make between the profane and the sacred. Sometimes the love triangle is read as Sometimes the love triangle is depicted as the man choosing between two women. But what if it's not a choice between two people, but a choice between your love for the flesh and your love for your higher power? Here, from your perspective, we do have the Page of Wands in the reverse. So a lot of you at this time might be kind of turning a blind eye, if you will, to your desires. And this could be any kind of desire. It could be carnal desires, of course, but it can be other things as well.
the desires that burn within you. You want to keep your fire stoked enough to move forward, but you don't want the fire to consume you entirely. Now, the Page of Wands is fire energy combined with earth energy. So we're taking those passions and we're bringing them down into the physical plane, making them concrete. Now, there might be things about this that are uh, frightening. There could be things about this that you don't feel comfortable exploring at this time. Excuse me. So you might have put some of these things away for the time being. Now, the Page of Wands in the reverse can also be kind of like one night stand energy on the flip side of that coin. So, not just kind of taming those things and putting them to bed, but also seeing a lack of seriousness in the desires of others. Here, from an outside perspective, looking in on the situation, we have the Page of Swords. Now, the Page of Swords is this can be like a fact-finding energy. The Page of Swords is like a scout. Where we have this card showing up in the reverse, people might think that they are not getting the right information about you. There can also be spying going on with this Page of Swords in the reverse. That people are gaining information about you with ill intent, Cancer. Now, you get 3 cards in the future. So let's go over these. Let's unpack everything that we've got here. We've got two of these secret arcana. We have Mars in the reverse, and we have the Shadow in reverse. And then we also have the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups is things returning from the past. Due to the extended delayed response created by the environment of the past couple of years, I'm not surprised ever to see this coming out in people's readings. The Six of Cups doesn't necessarily have to be something that you want to return from the past, but it could be things coming back up again, especially things emotionally that need to be dealt with, because we are asking about cups here. Now remember, we had the cups, the Eight of Cups crossing the significator. So this current environment that you're in is all about cutting your losses in regards to the emotional energies that you have offered in these cups to other people. And now, perhaps some of those cups are going to end up coming back to you in some form or another. And you do hope that they are all filled with the flowers from the soil and water and love that you had left in there. The cups is a suit, as water signs, but don't think about it just as water. Think about it as your prima materia. Think about it like your sweat. Think about it like your tears, your saliva. Think about the different significance of your different excretions. So these cards from the the secret arcana. Let's talk about the shadow first. I always like to look up the meaning. So, upright in the future, lies are going to be revealed. So, regarding any of these emotional situations that are coming back around again, you could see lies about these things coming back up. And remember, we are seeing the end of a cycle there as well. So, all of that has the potential to be wrapped back up again. And maybe it will be messy and maybe it won't. So the other card that we had coming out in the future is Mars in the reverse. It's a very active energy. And I know that at this time you're kind of rejecting these active energies. You're rejecting bringing that active energy into a concrete form in the current situation. And so in the future, where we see Mars in the reverse, energy, passion, drive, determination, ambition, courage, honor, and peace. So you get some of the more positive aspects, the light aspects, or I guess you could think of it as the shadow aspects of the very bellicose Mars are going to be coming out in the future. And that's going to be because of all of these energies that you poured out into other people. Don't forget that. It's not happening for no reason. Here in the realm of your hopes and fears.
Hi, Savannah. It's so good to see you. I am doing the Cancer reading right now, so you got here just in time.
In the hopes and fears, we have the Six of Pentacles in the upright. You're hoping that you will be able to be this magnanimous figure here, sharing your wealth with others, but always having more flowing in than is flowing out. And this is in opposition to where we have this Page of Wands in the reverse. So, whatever it is that you're desiring, you want to keep that desire in check. You have a desire to keep that desire in check. There's going to be a bit of a balancing here so that you understand what it is that is adequate for your needs, what it is that is going to provide for you and keep you comfortable and content, but is not going to hinder you or own you in the long run.
Oh, thank you, Maria. Yes, it's this artist, and they have a website, and they have divination tools available through the website.
So now we're going to look at the midheaven. And the midheaven is going to be the result of this Lover's card energy that you're going through in the current situation. Whether that is related to a choice that you need to make or a potential partner coming in for you. Because lovers can take all shapes and forms as well. And love takes all shapes and forms. We've been taught that there's one specific kind of love and it has a particular trajectory. You have to erase that from your mind because there are many kinds of love. And by emphasizing that kind of love, they're polarizing and really laying in on the programming. here in the midheaven, we have the Four of Pentacles.
Oh, I think everybody should buy one, Maria. I think they're fabulous decks.
The Four of Pentacles showing up reversed like this in the midheaven, I think that you might be letting go of some things and unburdening yourself. So you can see that this figure is holding very tightly to these pentacles. And I think because of this particular journey that you're going through in the current situation, you will either decide to try to hold on too tightly and have things still slip through your grasp, or you can choose to let go of things. So now the final outcome card for you, Cancer, is the Five of Cups, and it is in the reverse. And this is going to be in opposition to this Page of Swords, where we might have some people who are trying to figure out what you're doing, trying to spy on you, or might also, depending on their motivations, they might also be trying to spread misinformation about you. And the final outcome, this Five of Cups in reverse, these 3 cups of your substance have been poured out, but you still have these 2 back here. And I think rather than focusing on these 3 that have been poured out, you're going to be focusing on this partnership back here. Think about what these cups represent. This represents the 3 of Cups, represents tight-knit community, right? Whereas the 2 of Cups back here is much more exclusive club. That's just you and one other person. And this can be a love relationship. It can be a friendship. You could be roommates with somebody. It could even just be you and your higher power. Just that intimate. Although, as my good friend says, the age of ascetics and hermetics is over. It is time for us to take to the streets and act. So that is going to conclude the Cancer reading for this week.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm going to be moving on now to the, excuse me, I'm going to be moving on to the sign of Scorpio. And those of you who watch regularly
know that I do a members live stream immediately after this. You're cordially invited, of course, but your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes.
So, next is Scorpio. Scorpio, just go ahead and allow your intention for the reading and any surrounding thoughts or ideas to rise up to the forefront of your mind. And just wait there patiently while I shuffle the cards. And if there are any things about this cloud, is it a big fluffy cloud? Is it a rain cloud with lots of lightning? If the clouds gathering in your brainstorm are turbulent ones, I invite you to gently breathe through that energy. As you inhale,
oh, hi, Jasmine. No, I am on Scorpio right now. I'm just starting Scorpio. So Pisces will be next. Thank you for asking, and it is so good to see you.
so you can inhale and draw in that divine source energy on those oxygen molecules. Let the oxygen bounce through your electron transport chain in your mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. And then as you release that carbon dioxide, just release any of that tension or pain. You can go from the soles of your feet up through the crown of your head and just check for any little twinges, any pain, any discomfort, any tension that you're holding on to, and just release that. And it will be transmuted by source. All right. Oh, finally. Let's see. We've got. Okay. Let me write down your timestamp. And Cancer. Scorpio. 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 Just did Cancer. Scorpio. This card in your past is the key in reverse. Monk. Sorry. That key in reverse has to do with, it is an analog for the Wheel of Fortune. And because it is in the past, it could be that this energy is upright, but has passed. Its time has passed, and so it is in reverse. So the power is held within you to use for a price. So you might have had access to power of some kind, Scorpio, in the past, but there was a price to using it. And so there's this balance that you have to strike. It's kind of like the 3 wishes conundrum, right? If you have three wishes, what would you spend them on? Would you wish for more wishes? Would you wish for infinite wishes? Could you fix your life, your entire existence, if you had 3 wishes? Wishes are a little bit like currency, right? Except that if you have a $5 bill in one hand and you've got a wish in your other hand, how much do you have? So this power that you were wielding, let's see where it's gotten you in the current situation. we have the Venus card, and this card is showing up in the upright. This card is one of the secret arcana, and it has to do with ascending, beauty, an eyeful, growth, alluring, femininity, proud, or pride and pleasure. So, all of these wonderful traits that we associate with Venus, fertility, fecundity, and there is, of course, this beautiful wreath dripping with this substance, right? There are aspects of this that are related to your relationships to other people and the world around you at large. And there are aspects of this that also have to do with your resources. So, Venus is a passive energy, a receptive energy, a receptacle, not a dumpster, a receptacle. You can put anything in there that you would like. You have to keep people from throwing things in there that don't belong in there, of course. That's where the Mars energy comes in, people enforcing their will upon others. But there has to be a good balance with that passive energy too. Sometimes it's important to stand up for what you believe in. And that is why we have this crossed by the Nine of Wands energy. So, Scorpio, this Nine of Wands, we have somebody guarding this gate. This is a passive form of defense. This person is not saying that the best defense is a good offense. This person is merely guarding what they already have available to them and standing watch over it. They might be tired. They might be thirsty. Wands, being fire energy, burn very hot. Think about the ways that you can quench that fire with this passive Venus energy. So down here in the Imam Silai, some of you might be cuspers. We have the King of Swords in the upright. This King of Swords can be Libra energy, and is an analog for the Justice card in the Minor Arcana. The King of Swords is air of air energy and has to do with your discernment and figuring out the gray areas of situations. This is not the Knight of Swords who is polarizing, divisive, cutting through with that sword. The King of Swords might threaten to cut something in half in order to test the people involved in the situation. And then in his spare time, maybe he does or does not cut those things in half normally. Looking at you, King Solomon. Just kidding. But here in the upright, we're looking at the light aspects of that King of Swords energy. So there is a very fine-tuned discernment going on with you right now, Scorpio. Here, from your perspective, we have this Queen of Wands energy. You are showing up to the party in full regalia, ready to have a good time, being charismatic, being charming, being your lovely self. You could also have fire energy prominent in your chart, but all of the queens are water energy. So you could just be inhabiting fire energy at this time for a variety of reasons. Remember that we have this Nine of Wands here as the crossing energy for the significator, indicating that you have this desire of keeping your passive energies safe, keeping your receptacles safe. Why, Scorpio? Who do we have here showing up in their own reading is the Death card. Now, the Death card is very frightening, especially in this deck. Everybody is grievously wounded and dripping in a psychedelic fashion. But death is not to be feared. Death conquers all in the end, but all it is a transition. And this can be death of the ego. This can be death of situations. This can be release of energy back into insubstantial form. That's what's happening here when the flesh is released from the light body. Now, hopefully, that won't be happening to anyone watching this reading today. I don't think that's what is being indicated here. I think that other people from the outside are perceiving a very strong change in you right now, Scorpio. And some people are going to love the new you. And some people, this just is not going to appeal to them anymore. And that's for the best. That is as it should be. And you just have to trust that you are making the right choices, Scorpio, at this time. You have to be able to trust this discernment. And this King of Swords is showing up in the upright, which lets me know that you will be able to do that. I think in this situation, the King of Swords is not necessarily another person outside yourself. I think it's an extension of this whole situation. So here in the future, we have another water sign energy coming out. We have Pisces card, the moon. This is mutable water energy. Things transforming and changing as they move forward. The path is unclear. We know that at some point we're going to go between these two markers. We have to pass between these two creatures. One of them could be tame, one of them could be feral. And mind that you are not in your molting season, Scorpio, as you pass through this particular period of time in the future. The moon, however, can be a very fertile ground for creative expression. So I invite you to focus on any creative expression that comes out of you at this time, especially because we have this wands energy showing up in your reading. Now with the moon card, we are emphasizing the emotional aspects over the drive, the creative passion. This would be art as catharsis rather than art for the sake of creation. That isn't to say that it can't be jubilant and expressive and beautiful, but that would be the ideal motivation for you in moving forward into this period of time, Scorpio. Here in the hopes and fears, we have the Fool card in the reverse. Now, the Fool is somebody who doesn't have a lot of preconceived notions.
Oh, hi, Kayla. Pisces will be next. I'm still wrapping up the Scorpio reading. Thank you for asking, and it's so good to see you today.
They can be a little naive. So you are either worried about being too naive or too jaded. You might think that there's not someone watching you or helping you along your path. And that would be in your fears. And we have this counter to that Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is very confident. And the Fool has a blind confidence. People who don't know what they don't know may or may not be very vocal about things that they don't know very much about. And I think that's your concern at this time, Scorpio, that you're going to be speaking on things in a way that you don't have context for entirely. But that is okay. You don't have to be perfect. Be accepting of yourself, of any errors that you make along the way, and leave room. Leave room to correct your course. Sometimes we do have to make divisive decisions. But I think in this coming time, you will have room to correct that course as you see fit. Here in the midheaven, so this is going to be the result of this discernment that we see with the King of Swords. We have the Door showing up in the reverse, not being granted access for some reason or another. Let me read from the book. Preventing access to the portal. Excuse me. So even after you get all of these things figured out, there's going to be new challenges that crop up along the way. It's like when you play video games and you unlock a new level and you've gotten to the end of like all of these levels, and then you unlock this next level and you have all of these other stages to work through. That's kind of what I'm getting here, is that even when you get to this advanced point, Scorpio, your work will not be done. That there will still be more to do. There will still be a need for this discernment at all points along the way. The final outcome here for you, the Nine of Swords in reverse. And this, of course, is counter to your own energy that is showing up from the outside looking in. Because, of course, remember that one of those 8th house traits associated with Scorpio is other people's resources, other people's perspectives on your material situation and how they fit into that. So we have that as almost like a mirror for you here. You are showing up as royalty, and you are being reflected in your transformation. And you are being invited at this time, Scorpio, not to worry so much. Make sure to rest when you are able. You might have interruptions with sleep patterns coming up, or you might be getting over interruptions in sleep patterns. You might have the best night of sleep that you've ever had in the middle of the most turbulent point of your transformation. And that's true success.
So that is going to conclude the Scorpio reading for this week, and I will be moving on to the sign of Pisces next. I know it has been awaited with bated breath. I do a members live stream immediately following the tarot live stream. If that interests you, you're cordially invited. But your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes.
So let's look at the sign of Pisces. Pisces, allow your intention and any associated thoughts or ideas to rise up to the forefront of your mind and wait there patiently while I shuffle the cards. Now, there might be things about these situations that you find stressful. Sometimes these situations are painful or embarrassing. Let's even talk about embarrassment. Let's bring it out into the light. It's okay to be embarrassed about things and to be shy and to be uncoordinated when you dance. So, if any of those things are causing you discomfort, Pisces, I'd like for you to take in a really deep breath. And imagine this breath coming through the top of your head and filtering all the way down through the soles of your feet into the ground below. And on each little oxygen molecule, I want you to envision the divine light of Source glowing. And watch that little beam of light jump all the way through your electron transport chain. And when it hops off at the end, just release. With the CO2 of your breath, any of that discomfort, any of that pain you're experiencing, any embarrassment, anything stupid you said to your coworker yesterday, just release it with your breath. And it will be transmuted by Source.
I have to write down your timestamp.
Okay. So, here in the past, we have the Chariot card. Now, the Chariot card is upright, and this card is about victory and mobility. More importantly, the chariot is your spaceship. The chariot is the trebuchet that you use to launch yourself into the alternate universe that you would prefer to be in. We see here this spinning object. Could be a hammer, could be a spinning hammer, about to be released, that force flying off, and you have to think about it that way. You're moving in that projectile trajectory is going to have a great impact, not just on the world you're entering, but the world you're leaving behind. And you will be coping with this energy, which has begun in the past, in this current situation. Let's find out some more about that. Here in the current situation, we have the Temperance card. And this card is in the upright. So we're looking at mastery, Pisces. We're looking at practice. We're looking at a fellow mutable sign of Sagittarius. So that's going to be a squared placement, but some of you might have prominent Sagittarius placements. And you want to look at what that is and where it's located.
And I'm thinking about doing a video about empty houses. So maybe look for that sometime soon.
But this temperance energy, it takes a lot of focus and a lot of patience to pour this liquid, to pour your essence between these two vessels without spilling any of it. Even the archangels must practice this feat. And if you see, one of those feet is in the water and one of them is on land. One foot, the dominant foot, because this foot is raised up. This foot is the active foot in this situation, even though it's the left foot on the angel. Maybe their left foot isn't their dominant foot. I'm sure they can make it be whatever they want it to be. That's not the point. The point is that they're putting all their weight on the foot that is immersed in mud, or possibly trying to grip slippery moss-covered stones at the bottom of this body of water. Any of you who have put your foot into the body of water and kind of fallen down or been knocked about by the waves, perhaps, or stepped in a lake on something slimy, this would not be the surer of the 2 feet, but it's the one that the angel is using. That's the degree of concentration in that transfer. And this is having to do with this gigantic release. So the tomb is another one of these secret arcana cards. And I already kind of know the meaning, so I'll start talking about it while I look it up in the book. The tomb, you can see all of these little spirits flying out. And each one of those spirits represents secrets, embarrassments perhaps, things that you wish to keep hidden, but perhaps that's not what's best for you, Pisces. Free your demons. Sacrifice is power. Clear your conscience before it's too late. So what we see here is this catharsis by slow release. We're not just blowing the door off and having all of these spirits come out at once. We are carefully extracting and releasing each one of those skeletons from the closet. So, an incredible alchemical process that you're undergoing right now, Pisces. Can you feel it? So, perhaps this transportation involves transubstantiation for you, Pisces. Dissolving one form and reshaping oneself in a new form.
Be very careful, because one time I saw this David Cronenberg movie where Jeff Goldblum built a transporter and a fly got in there and it messed him up really bad. So just be careful for that, Pisces. Always clean it out before you use it.
I kid, of course. These kind of alchemical transformations do not fall subject to the mundane limitations of science. So down here in the midheaven, I beg your pardon, down here in the Imam Selai, which means like the lowest point, this is the foundation for what we'll see in the midheaven. And we have a reinforcement of this chariot energy. The Six of Wands is a minor arcana analog for this chariot. We've got the same victory, we've got the same mobility. But this, you could see it kind of like the tail of the comet. The head of the comet burns very bright, but the tail of dust streaming out behind it as it scatters, as it breaks apart, perhaps as it enters the Earth's atmosphere. It's not burning so hot, it's not burning so bright. We're getting it cooled off, ready to move into its next phase of cooling and tempering and becoming a part of the environment overall. So that is what is occurring in your chariot process right now. From your perspective, Pisces, your intuition could be wide, wide open right now. We have the eye, which is being able to perceive and see all of these colors at once. All of the colors at once. We have some analogs here for the 4 elements. Could also be seen as analogs for the 4 horsemen, but the oppositional force. And this is similar to this temperance energy. This is an analog for this temperance energy. So because you are able to have this training, this focus, you are able to see all of these colors. You're able to see the whole spectrum. All of these little things that you're releasing from that tomb. You're able to see all these things at once. From an outside person's perspective, looking in, Pisces, we do have this 7 of Swords. So there's people think perhaps that you are being not truthful or underhanded with them. I feel like it could just be an omission rather than an obfuscation. So, not that you are purposefully hiding things, but rather that you are just not revealing everything. And people see that as being underhanded in some way at this particular time, Pisces. I don't see a lot of defensive cards here, you know. In the Scorpio reading, we had that Nine of Wands come out. And I don't see a lot of protective cards here. We do have the Wands on the Six of Wands. We do have the idea of the tomb being this sealed vault. And there are things inside it that are not readily apparent from the outside. And people might see this as being underhanded in some way. But you can't worry about that right now, Pisces. You have to do what's right for you. And if that means not revealing everything that you see at once, you have to deal with these things and cope with traumas and process emotions, even extreme joy and ecstasis can be traumatic to an extent. It's not a bad trauma, but it's still very stressful to your physical and emotional states. So take that into account. Here in the future, we do have the Justice card in the reverse. Now, I see this as a potential for justice to be served, but also that you might end up going through all of these transformations and it's not going to fix the intrinsic injustice of a situation. Here in your hopes and fears, we have the Flower. This is a hope for purity. It is a hope for innocence. This card itself, simplicity. So you hope for things to be simplified, and delicacy. Oh, it's my best friend. All right, well, I'm going to wrap up this reading very quickly, but the leaf blower man is outside, so I hope that's not too loud. And this is in contrast to where we see all. You're able to see and perceive all, but you still want to maintain purity and simplicity in this situation. So here in the midheaven, we have the Queen of Swords, and she is showing up in her ruthless and conniving reversed form. So you will have victory in your transformation, Pisces. But the fundamental systems will still remain intact, which forced that transformation in the first place. Your final outcome and your advice for the reading is this Four of Cups. So you do have many options open to you, Pisces. Now look that you are receiving help from the higher power. Remember how I've been talking about the liquid in the Suit of Cups is your substance. It's your sweat, it's your tears, it's your blood, it's your urine, it's your saliva. And you can pour that substance into any of these cups that you choose. You only have a finite amount to give at any particular time. And this is showing up in opposition to where we have that Seven of Swords. So people might have a perception of you that if you are not pouring your substance into their cup, oh, yeah, I mean, he serves a necessary purpose. So I just hope that everyone else understands, because I am almost done with this reading. Otherwise, I would say, well, I'll stop between signs and wait for him to finish. But it sounds like he's going over to the other side of the building just now. People might perceive that if you're not pouring your substance into their cup, that there's some kind of subterfuge there. But you don't really owe them an explanation. You get to pick of these cups which ones you pour into, and remember that you have the guidance of your higher power to help you make that choice.
So that is going to conclude the water sign reading for this week. And of course, because you are able to hear the leaf blower person outside, I will be waiting just a moment before I start the live stream for the members. Thank you to everyone who has showed up for the live stream today. It is so greatly appreciated. All your likes, shares, subscriptions, and of course, ringing that little bell for notifications so you know when I go live, because I'm not going to be able to keep it consistent time-wise, I don't think, heading into this new period. And I do apologize for that, but it's just the nature of transformation, that things may not remain static. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I look forward to seeing